Have you ever felt like it's too late to start something new? Have you ever thought your dreams were impossible? Today, I want to tell you an incredible story. It's the story of a man who failed many times, a man who lost everything, but he never gave up. His name was Colonel Harland Sanders, and he created KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. This is not just a story about fried chicken. This is a story about courage, determination, and never giving up on your dreams. Part 1. A difficult beginning. Harland Sanders was born in 1890 in Indiana, USA. His life was difficult from the very beginning. When he was only 5 years old, his father died. This changed everything for young Harland. His mother had to work in a factory to feed the family. Harland became responsible for taking care of his younger brother and sister. At just 5 years old, he had to cook meals for his family. This is where his cooking journey began. When Harland was 12 years old, his mother remarried. Unfortunately, his stepfather was not kind to him. Harland decided to leave home. He was only 12 years old, but he had to survive on his own. Part 2. Many jobs, many failures. For the next 40 years, Harland Sanders tried many different jobs. He worked on a farm, he was a streetcar conductor, he joined the army, he worked on the railroad, he even tried to become a lawyer, but he got into a fight with his own client and lost his job. He opened a gas station, but it failed. He tried different businesses, but they all failed. He got married and had children, but his personal life was also difficult. By the time Sanders was 40 years old, he was running a small gas station in Kentucky. He started cooking food for travelers who stopped at his station. People loved his food, especially his fried chicken. He had a special recipe with 11 herbs and spices that made his chicken taste amazing. Sanders opened a small restaurant next to his gas station. For the first time in his life, something was working. His restaurant became popular. People drove many miles just to eat his fried chicken. Everything seemed perfect. Part 3. Losing everything. But then disaster struck. When Sanders was 65 years old, the government built a new highway. This new road went around his town, not through it. Almost overnight, he lost all his customers. Nobody was coming to his restaurant anymore. He had to close his restaurant. He had to sell everything. After working his whole life, he had almost nothing. He received his first Social Security check. It was only $105 per month. Most people at 65 years old would retire and accept their situation. But not Harland Sanders. He had something valuable, his secret recipe for fried chicken. He believed in it. He knew it was special. Part 4. 1009 Times of Rejection. At 65 years old, Sanders made a brave decision. He would travel across America. He would visit restaurants and try to sell his fried chicken recipe. His plan was simple. Restaurants would use his recipe, and he would get a small payment for every piece of chicken they sold. He packed his pressure cooker and his secret spices into his car. He drove from restaurant to restaurant. He would cook his chicken for restaurant owners and ask them to partner with him. The first restaurant said no. The second restaurant said no. The 10th restaurant said no. The 100th restaurant said no. People laughed at him. They said he was too old. They said his idea would never work. They said his chicken wasn't special. But Sanders didn't stop. He slept in his car to save money. He kept driving, he kept cooking, he kept asking. 1,008 restaurants said no to him. Can you imagine? 1,008 rejections? Most people would give up after 10 rejections. but not Sanders. Finally, restaurant number 1009 said yes. One restaurant owner in Utah loved his chicken. They made a deal. This was the beginning. Part 5. Building an Empire. After the first restaurant said yes, others started to follow. Sanders' chicken became more and more popular. He traveled across the country, making deals with more restaurants. He always wore his white suit and black tie. He grew a white beard and mustache. He became Colonel Sanders, a symbol of Kentucky Fried Chicken. By 1964, when Sanders was 74 years old, there were more than 600 KFC restaurants across the United States and Canada. He sold his company for $2 million, a huge amount of money at that time. But even after selling KFC, Sanders continued to work as the company's spokesman. He appeared in commercials. He visited KFC restaurants around the world. He became one of the most recognized faces in the world. Conclusion: the lessons we can learn. Today, there are more than 25,000 KFC restaurants in over 145 countries. The company is worth billions of dollars. All of this started with a 65-year-old man who refused to give up. Colonel Sanders died in 1980 at the age of 90, but his legacy lives forever. What can we learn from his story? First, it's never too late to start. Sanders was 65 when he started KFC. Age is just a number. Second, failure is not the end. Sanders failed many times in his life. Every failure taught him something new. Third, rejection is part of success. Sanders heard no 1,008 times before he heard yes. If he had stopped at rejection number 1,000, we wouldn't have KFC today. And finally, believe in yourself. When nobody else believed in Sanders, he believed in himself. He knew his chicken was special. So remember, no matter how old you are, no matter how many times you failed, no matter how many people say no to you, never give up on your dreams. Your success story might be just one more try away. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, please like and subscribe. And remember, it's never too late to chase your dreams.